Imagine seeing a guy today open the trunk of his car and start selling shoes. You probably wouldn't call him a businessman. But back in the 1960s, one man was literally doing exactly that. His car was packed with shoes. He would drive to schools, find runners, and say, "Try these." That man was Phil Knight, and that tiny hustle would eventually become Nike. But the real story isn't about shoes. The real story is what Phil Knight did before the money ever came in. Phil Knight wasn't a billionaire. He didn't have a famous brand. The name Nike didn't even exist yet. He and his former coach, Bill Bowerman, started a small company called Blue Ribbon Sports. Their business was simple: import running shoes from Japan and sell them in the United States. But there was one problem. They had the shoes, but they didn't have a store. So what did Phil do? He took the store with him. He filled the trunk of his Plymouth Valiant with shoes. Then he drove around Portland, went to local high schools, found runners, talked to them, and sold the shoes right there. No fancy website, no advertisement, no massive marketing budget. Just one guy, one car, and customers standing right in front of him. Sometimes those runners didn't even have cash on them, so they would later come to Phil's home to buy the shoes. Now imagine this happening today. A young guy says, "I don't have a store, so I'm going to sell from my car." Most people would probably tell him, "Get a proper setup first." But Phil did the opposite. He got customers first, then he built the business. And that was the difference. Blue Ribbon Sports, which started in 1964, would eventually become Nike. But the beginning was anything but glamorous. Even years later, their first proper office was so small that the same space served as their office, warehouse, sales room, and retail store. And the rent? Just $50 a month. There's a powerful business lesson hidden in Phil Knight's story. When Phil Knight started out, he didn't say, "I'm going to build a billion-dollar brand like Nike." His immediate goal was much smaller. Sell shoes, one customer, then another, then a third, and then more. In other words, he built proof before he scaled. Today, people often want to build everything before they even have a customer. They design the logo, build the website, look for an office, and spend months planning. But what did Phil Knight do? He took the product and put it directly in front of customers. If you want to start a business today, don't ask yourself, "What should my company look like?" Ask yourself, "How can I get my first paying customer?" Because a business idea is just an idea until someone is willing to pay for it. When Phil Knight was getting started, there was no Nike logo, no massive headquarters, no billion-dollar brand. There was just a car full of shoes and one man trying to sell them. If you want to start a business too, then do just one thing today. Find your first paying customer. The logo can come later. The website can come later. The perfect setup can come later. Get proof first, then scale. And if you want FiloSuffer to keep teaching you real business stories and powerful wealth lessons like this, subscribe. Because the next story might not just inspire you, it might completely change the way you think about making money.